The Earth is beginning a move toward the people to let us know that we've got to control this madness that we've unleashed.
Well, I'm Libra, but I'm also Scorpio. And the sun sometimes on some days is a little bit on the cusp, and that's where I'm from.
And I'm thinking of the other sun, the one I never had. I'm sure he would have shined like a sun.
Sun contributes to music, and if there's no rain, it also contributes to music. But you just have to love the earth and give it back what it gives you.
The plants are all telepathic, and the animals are all telepathic, and I hang out with them and just work on improving my access to human telepathy.
I think animals have souls.
Yeah, of course, they're cute.
People have the ability to learn and animals don't, but that's being questioned now because they find octopuses have been able to learn from each other's, like what they, and so it's like, I don't know, that's coming into question. The more scientifically we go on, the more we're finding out how similar we are to everything else.
Animal life is where we are. And we're trapped in that. But animal life is not and should not be separated from the godlike view at the same time.
The planet is being abused and not respected, and I think the animals are suffering as well from all the pollution and stuff that's going on in this world.
I don't despise riches. Money is a good thing. It greases good things to do, yeah.
I tend to despise riches in others, although as I've aged, I've learned to love them in myself.
How can we have a guy this stupid as our president? And that people are basically embarrassed by it and can't imagine. With Reagan and Nixon, you sort of understood. With Bush, there's sort of this state of denial that he's not really the president, although he seems to be up there in the office. And if he says give alms to everyone, nobody pays any serious attention to that.
You what? What is alms?
What are alms?
Yeah.
It's the welfare of the Islamic religion. You give alms. Just like up here, the alms was the potlatch. Everybody fed the 5 tenets. That way everybody ate. Everybody has to be able to eat and be taken care of in one way or another. I think I believe in alms.
I grew up in a Catholic background, and I don't remember anybody getting alms. I always remember having to give them.
Well, if you're stupid, you're just stupid. And so you walk around and you act stupid. If you're crazy, but you know you're crazy. If you're stupid and crazy, you got to be crazy, but you're so stupid you don't know it.
A friend of mine used the word goofy instead of stupid, because stupid's kind of derogatory, and goofy's kind of like, here we are.
George Bush likes to call them the powerful and educated, which he is, of course, the leader of that contingent. That's why he got voted in. Most people don't know that. He's both stupid and crazy. And he actually has made it his mission as president to stand up for the stupid.
Like, who are deemed stupid aren't really stupid, they're just deemed that way.
No, I don't know. I think I have autism sometimes.
There aren't mechanics for 100-year-old printing presses. You couldn't call somebody up and say, I'll give you $200 if you just come over and make this go away. You have to devote your income and your love and your study to it. You can't just you can't just wave the money at it and make the problem go away.
Someone might come along and I'd say, well, you might want to devote your income to improving international relations in this way.
When you measure your income and labors, you have to take satiation into account.
Well, I don't know if people intentionally drove all the animals away, but I think there are tyrants. I hate tyrants who are more focused on gathering wealth for themselves, and they don't understand that it's all going to come to nothing. They can't take it with them.
Don't you just hate tyrants?
I could never think of loving a tyrant.
Genghis Khan, you know, there might have been something there to love.
The tyranny that the people on Vashon object to most is the commute.
We bitch about traffic, but then people move farther and farther out in the suburbs, and so they have the illusion of space away from being toward the people, but in fact, as soon as they commute in, they're aware of the crowding.
Concerning God, I have no answer. In fact, on that, I think that the phrase is meaningless.
Argue not with the forces with whom you cannot argue.
I'm a Tibetan Buddhist, so it goes back and forth, where the emptiness, right, the known and the unknown, the emptiness, you really can't put your finger on anything other than the original mind.
Religions were created to bring people together, and maybe they serve a different purpose now.
I think concerning God, I think he finds his own way to defend himself in whatever form he takes. Because, I mean, maybe dogs are on the earth to defend God.
Concerning concerning God, it's a dogma, basically the ruination of humanity.
The gremlins in the machine. You have to have a lot of patience and indulgence with patches of the when you're printing. Letterpress printing is sometimes something goes, it'll start getting light, and a word will kind of lighten up and almost disappear on you, and you don't know where it went, or some other part will start getting heavier. It's there is that the kind of gremlin nature that does try my patience.
Sometimes, when you're sitting behind a table full of books, it takes a bit of patience and indulgence to move the day along.
But most people have infinite patience and indulgence for what their peculiar fellow humans might come out with all of a sudden.
A hat protects your head, right? It keeps you away from the rain and the elements. But there are times when, to get the air flowing, you've got to take off your hat. In the same way, too much stimulus through the eye can make you a crazy person. So sometimes you got to close your eyes, but then you're just lost in your own little world. You got to take off your eyelids.
If someone cooks meat, I take my hat off to them and I'll eat it, but I don't cook it myself. Take off your hat. Take off my head.
Somebody defined math as the language in which the earth talks to itself. And there's no difference between man or number.
If you were to ask me to pick a large man or a large number, I would have to go with the former.
To me, stars are so far from my existence, except that you look up and you see these, you can't differentiate them, so there's this kind of ideal starriness, so all stars are emanations of the same star. And it's the same thing, it's kind of that joke about how many people there are running the world. It's the same 200 people that exist everywhere, but in different. So whether you're looking at a man or number, it's so that emanation of some kind of ideal.
I like really powerful, uneducated sort of individuals like Hulk Hogan and Conan the Barbarian. They're sort of, my sort of mytho-powerful, structural men.
Well, I think that, just like to the word educated, that, it's like a hierarchy. So when you feel someone's presence and you feel that they're smarter than you, you feel not less educated, but you should listen a little more, you know what I mean? And uneducated people, you feel you have to speak more.
It may be that an uneducated person is able to live in a simpler world, though I doubt it. It's the same world, whether you understand it or not.
And with the young, all they should do is dance and play.
And with the young dog, let him jump over the goddamn river.
I was at the PCC a few years ago, and some lovely little hippie family was letting little Esmeralda ruffle through the, bulk bins and explore her world and eat fig bars, and you know, and I complained, and the PCC lady yelled at me, so I never go to the Green Lake PCC anymore.
As we get older and we get more experience and more families, you know, you grew up with your parents, you knew they were nuts, but then you start hanging with other people, realize their parents are nuts too, and their siblings and everybody else. So that's Tolstoy's only problem. There are, or maybe that's his opportunity. There were no happy families.
Chose at the age of 8 to judge myself incompetent as a potential mother or father myself. I thought all the parents of my acquaintances were totally incompetent, and I knew that they knew much more than I did.
Every year of your life, you need to add some new tricks, and you need to, I suspect, drop a few things as you go.
I usually really come alive during the fall season, but you know, when it comes right down to it, every season makes a different part of my body come alive.
All you have been told, don't believe it. I mean, nothing you know is true.
I have 2 children. Unfortunately, at school and church, they're usually pretty dysfunctional. It's difficult for them because they have the richest nation in the world teaching them how to say, and justice for all, which my children know is not true.
Think you have multiple personality disorder?
At school or church, I definitely have multiple personalities, probably deep schizophrenia about even the subject.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Are you're not on Prozac, are you?
No, I'm not.
Would you like to be?
Well,
I try to dismiss whatever insults be thrown at my way, because to others I'm generally a nice person, easygoing, and usually the number of men are usually more than me, so, or actually they're unknown, or known or unknown, so actually I don't know.
I also think that the criticism that I've been hurt by is the criticism that most deeply insults my own soul.
As a woman and a mother and a nourisher, I would be thinking of things that would be positive, that would build up my soul rather than insult my soul.
A poem is a set of circumstances. It's a set of strategies to encompass a situation. This is Kenneth Burke's definition of a poem. And I think the greatest poem will depend on the situation that you want to apply it to.
Adrienne Rich's 21 love poems are a good example of that. You read them and they're erotic, and they also are great poems, although they don't necessarily make you think of anything other than the sensual.
It's poetry. See, poetry is whatever beyond the momentary descriptive or pointing needs of language stops you in your tracks.
salutations to the body-mind song, the breezy wind blowing past. The sea comes to the land and lays a graceful prostration on the shore.
I love flesh. I love the feel of flesh. I don't eat flesh, however. At least not literally.
I believe that things that can feel shouldn't have to suffer, and that as people who can make intelligent decisions, we can prevent things from suffering.
Flesh shall be served, and work, labor is a serving of the flesh when it's done with joy.
I do believe in flesh and blood because, first of all, without flesh, like I said, you'd be running on the ground all over. And without blood, you would be, in a jar somewhere in some mausoleum. And so I think that your very flesh is extremely important to holding the blood in.
Actually, your rib cage and, bones do, but who's counting?
Whether it's the lips and face that I look at, or it's the face and lips that I look at in order to determine meaning or whatever.
My lips and face, they pretty much work together.
I think the most fascinating things are people that don't have lips, people with tight little mouths. I mean, I've seen a lot of them, like at this book fair, mostly looking at my comic books.
You can see the line, you know, my face. You can see the lines of its lips.
Suck lips and face. It's better to suck lips than face. Chew lips and suck face. There you go.
The kind of lips I like are the lips that are on mine. Lips and face.
Oh, the lips and the face, I would say.
And the rest of the body too.
One of the reasons why I don't wear mascara is it clumps, and between the lashes it gets really yucky and it makes you want to itch, and then you itch and then you look like a raccoon.
I was born with cataracts. So yeah, congenital cataracts. It was great. When I first moved to Seattle for a routine eye exam, I went to UW because I didn't have a regular doctor, and they had all these med students, and they got really excited to do a special test on me that had nothing to do with my needs, but they wanted to see if I'd have some special side effect.
Motion and joint become an incredible tango when you're really, really involved in something.
It's a mathematical formula that motion and joint get together, and it's the hypothesis, the angle of the dangle.
It might take a little adjustment in every joint of your body, as mine, to do such a thing.
You know, sheep thrills, I mean, what are we talking about here? Is it man or numbers of other sexual encounters? Yeah.
Well, I say, you know, stand up for the stupid ideas we have and go with it.
Years old, I hit myself in the head with an axe, the blood end. But if you feel it here, you can feel a trench right here. And of course, anybody who's got hit, you feel it? Yeah. Ooh, it's ugly, isn't it? Blam! I remember that moment. I was like 7 years old, and I was in a ghost costume when I was pulling the axe down out of the fake spider web we had, and bang! Right between the eyes. And oh, that hurt! I gave myself a concussion. Would it hurt worse if it was the other way around? I would have given myself a lobotomy. I would never have any worries. You know, I'd be happy. I'd be one of those uneducated people. But, huh? Oh yes, because if you have head trauma.